The first poll I'm going to start today, though, is going to be starting off about what Fabrizio Romano has said about the managerial situation, which has got a few people a little bit concerned about the future of Ten Hag again and where we might be heading. So look, when we spoke over the weekend, I think we felt that, well, nearly a week ago, just before the FA Cup final, it looked like Ten Hag was going, and I think that was the situation. There's a lot of people out there trying to be clever and think that the world is black and white or, you know, red and green, and it's not. It's amber and grey and everything in between. So when everybody talks about, oh, last week you were saying that Man United were going to sack Erik Ten Hag, and now you're saying they might not, it's because somebody's changed their mind. When they walk into Greggs, they might want a sausage and bean melt. And all the way there, they might be saying, I'm going to have a sausage and bean melt. And then in the queue, they see somebody walk out with a really freshly cooked, steaming hot dog. And they go, sausage roll, I'm going to have that. People change their mind. And this is big, big, big news for Manchester United to sack or retain a manager. Wazza says, I'd just go for a steak bake. David says, hope it's vegan. So realistically, last Friday, they're getting rid of him. Saturday, pressure. Sunday, thinking. Monday, more towards Ten Hag staying. Tuesday, we don't know. Wednesday, we don't know. Thursday, we don't know. I don't eat at Greggs, Tina, don't worry. I have not eaten at Greggs for a very long time. But I think on Sunday morning, I'd have been 80% chance that they were getting rid of him. I think on Monday, I was 50-50. And on, was it Tuesday, when we got that brief on Tuesday night, I was probably 70% they were going to keep him. Where am I at the moment? Well, this Fabrizio Romano update I will give you, and then I will tell you where I'm at the moment. So Fabrizio Romano has come out and said on his YouTube channel, there is a strong possibility that Ten Hag could still be replaced. I don't like those words, but I watched the interview and I watched the YouTube clip, and having interviewed Fabrizio for many years, I feel. Look, I've interviewed many people. As you know, some of my past jobs involved interviewing people who might be lying to you. Now, I'm not saying that Fabrizio is lying, but my read of what Fabrizio had to say was very much holding statement. I don't feel as if he has anything new. I don't feel as if he's Terps, as he mentioned Tuchel a lot. Well, I have a theory on that as well. I don't think Fabrizio has any updates in relation to what is happening at Man United, because he kept referring to everything's on the table. Also, the strategic review is still going on. So I don't think that Fabrizio knows that we're getting rid of Ten Hag, but I think what he does know. I knew I'd use the wrong one. This one will be fine. Thanks for everybody in the chat who lets me know. I've got two, and I didn't know which one was the one I'd charged up. So that's the one I hadn't charged up. This one is the one that I had. So we're back again. Sorry about that. I couldn't, you know what? I couldn't work without you. I just couldn't work without you. But you know what? I think what I was saying there is that on the Fabrizio Romano thing, he did talk about Thomas Tuchel a hell of a lot. And my theory on this is, so on this update from Fabrizio, he basically says, what is going on with Man United and Thomas Tuchel and Erik Ten Hag? And he says there's still a strong possibility that Manchester United could sack Erik Ten Hag, and if they do, he then talks about Thomas Tuchel. It was Greg's revenge, says Nicholas. Probably, yeah. Get me a steak bake. I think, and I've always thought this about Thomas Tuchel, I think that the reason that he is being mentioned by Fabrizio last night is because Fabrizio is connected to a lot of people, and I think people close to Thomas Tuchel wants his name out there. And that's exactly what Sayer said. Exactly what Sayer said there. He has been putting his name out for jobs for weeks. And I don't think that Thomas Tuchel is high on Manchester United's list at all. And I just think that ever since he lost his Bayern Munich job, he has an ego where he wants to be in a big job and prove Bayern Munich wrong. And he needs to get a job where he can do that. Now, the interesting thing about Thomas Tuchel for me is that we've got a poll running here at the moment 91% of you would keep Erik Ten Hag, 9% would take Thomas Tuchel. And I agree with Tina G, desperate Tuchel. Do you want a manager? Let's just talk about Thomas Tuchel for a moment. And then we can talk about Ten Hag, and then we can talk about the other things. But Fabrizio Romano has spoken about Thomas Tuchel for about 90 seconds last night, saying how much he'd want the job. But at no point was it Man United are looking at Thomas Tuchel. Man United are probably going to sign Thomas Tuchel. At no point have we said that. And I think what this is what it's always been. Thomas Tuchel in a local bar, flirting around, trying to get a job, trying to get someone to buy him a drink. And I have a problem with that. I personally have a problem with that. And I think if you want Thomas Tuchel as Manchester United manager, that's fine, respect. But I would say this, if Thomas Tuchel is such an innovative and sought after coach, why is it Barcelona, a club on their knees, didn't go anywhere near him? Why is it Chelsea, where Chelsea fans love him, didn't go anywhere near him? And why is it that Liverpool, who are replacing one of the most iconic and strong personality managers in living memory, are not going anywhere near Thomas Tuchel? So my big thing is about Thomas Tuchel is, why is it that Man United would be so desperate to take a manager that is so desperate to take a job and sell that off as a new future for Man United? Barcelona don't want him, Chelsea don't want him, Liverpool don't want him, and he would go anywhere. He's not. The allure of Man United is not the thing of Thomas Tuchel. The allure of a big job. If Barcelona wanted him, he'd sit there. Basically, if Thomas Tuchel, right? If Barcelona and Man United rang him up and said, where do you want to go? Then he would go, let me have a little think about it. And he'd play us like a piano. He doesn't want the Man United job. He just wants a big job. And why is it that Man United, under Ineos, are selling us this story of competence and a new future, and yet we're being linked to coaches that nobody else wants? Like, nobody wants Pochettino. Barcelona didn't want Pochettino. Liverpool didn't want Pochettino. Chelsea don't want Pochettino. Same clubs don't want Thomas Tuchel. Same clubs don't want De Zerbi. I've just seen a squirrel run past. I'm going to call it Thomas Tuchel. Keep jogging, you big-tailed prat. So, look, I want Ineos to do well. And if they keep Erik Ten Hag, then I will get behind them 100%. But what worries me about them, and I cannot be one of those fans who just blindly follows, whatever they say. I worry about some of the things they're linked to. As I said to you yesterday on the video I did about the budget, I worry about the Southgate links. I worry about Joel Glazer being involved in the manager talks, which came out from Simon Stone. Joel Glazer was involved in the manager talks. I worry about all these things because they're not things that you would talk about with your mates and go, I'm really excited about the fact that Joel Glazer is working on the Manchester United sacking. I'm really excited that we're talking to Gareth Southgate and Thomas Tuchel, Thomas Squirrel. I just don't see it at all. And also, I remember Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea. It fell apart like a paper house in a gale. It was horrific at the end. Some of the stories, and we might be able to get some of these because I remember being told them at the time. Some of the stories around Thomas Tuchel at the end of Chelsea were terrible. Same at PSG, same at Bayern Munich, same at Dortmund. So one of the big things about Thomas Tuchel for me is why don't Chelsea want him? Because he's too controlling. He's got too much of a personality. So when you've got Man United, who want to bring in football by committee with Barada and Wilcox and Ashworth, why would you bring Thomas Tuchel into that? He is the anti. I mean, why am I having to tell you things you already know? And why are we having to express our frustration about United's ownership about something they should already know? Thomas Tuchel doesn't work well under a club that deals with the transfers. It was the big problem when Todd Boehly came in, and it was the big problem at PSG, and it's the big problem at Bayern Munich. He wants more control over recruitment, and yet United want to take it away. And what makes me laugh is that people talk about Erik Ten Hag like he is a coach that wants to control transfers. The Glazers gave him that. But actually, if Erik Ten Hag was at Ajax, we'd all be saying give Ten Hag the job. Because what he was at Ajax was a coach that worked under a committee. He had people like Overmars and Van der Sar, technical director, director of football, whatever chief executive, whatever they were at Ajax, they actually worked under a football committee. And people forget this. And it's
Goldbridge, that's the end of the clip. I'm sure you enjoyed it. In fact, I bet that's the best clip you've ever watched. So there's no reason not to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you never miss a clip again. In fact, smash a like on the video because we all know only legends like videos and you are all legends. So please smash a like on the video and we will see you again on the next one. Thank you very much for watching as always.